In my opinion, Fatayer are one of the greatest snack foods. They're these super craveable mini pizzas which are covered or filled with all sorts of delicious fillings. The great thing about them is they're so easy to make ahead of time, then you can freeze and reheat them at a moment's notice. Every Levantine mom has these on hand for unexpected guests, and with how little work they require, I think you should too.
First up, let's talk toppings for these mini menaish. You really could top these with anything you can think of, and today we're making 4 classic flavours. This herby cheese one is a combination of feta and mozzarella, which are mixed with parsley and mint for a light but cheesy mouthful. My favourite one is the spinach, which is mixed with pomegranate molasses, sumac and lemon for an amazing tangy flavour. The meat one contains some vegetables and spices that give it just a little heat, yet still allow the meat's flavour to shine through. And finally the Zaatar, which is topped with a zesty and herby Za'atar spice mix. To make the cheese one, get a block of low moisture mozzarella, or you could use Akkawi or Nabulsi cheese if you can find them. You'll need to shred 250 grams of your cheese on the large side of a grater, but if you can't get a block of cheese, you can use the pre-shredded stuff instead. Once you're done grating the cheese, you can then use the grater to pull the leaves off of a bunch of parsley. Thank you to whoever suggested this hack a while back, because this saves so much time versus pulling off each leaf from its stalk. You'll need to do this to about 20 grams of parsley and then take those leaves and roughly chop them. Now the other cheese you'll need is 200 grams of Feta cheese. An aged one like this will give great flavour, and you just want to roughly break it up into smaller chunks. Now add your roughly chopped parsley to the cheeses, as well as a tablespoon of Nigella seeds and 1 teaspoon of dried mint. Finally whisk together 2 eggs and pour over the other ingredients before mixing to combine. This might take a little elbow grease, but just use your fork to mash it all together, and when done your cheese filling will look like this. The parsley, mint and Nigella will give it a great herby flavour, and the cheeses will melt to perfection. For the spinach filling, you'll begin by taking 250 grams of washed spinach and then roughly chopping it so that all the leaves are cut into 2 to 3 pieces. Place the spinach in a bowl and you'll macerate it by adding half a teaspoon of salt and then massaging this into the spinach. The salt will wilt the leaves, but unlike cooking, you'll still have some spinach left over. Once well mixed, let your spinach sit for around 15 to 20 minutes for the salt to take effect. Meanwhile, you can toast some pine nuts. To a pan, add 2 tablespoons of olive oil as well as 30 grams of pine nuts. Fry these over medium heat for around 3 minutes until some of the pine nuts turn this golden colour. Once they do, fish them out of the pan and let them drain over a paper towel. You'll also need to saute some onions for the filling. So first dice 250 grams of onions into a small dice like so. To a pot or pan, add 2 tablespoons of olive oil over medium heat, then add the onion and mix well. Saute this for about 5 to 6 minutes until the onions have totally softened and are just starting to brown around the edges. Then pull the onion out and allow it to cool. Now that the spinach is macerated, it should have reduced quite a bit like so, and all that's needed is to squeeze out all its excess water. Take a handful of spinach and then over a sieve, squeeze it tightly in your hands until you've pressed out all the liquid. This needs to be removed, otherwise there will be too much liquid in the filling and the dough won't seal properly. At this point we can combine it all together. Add the sauteed onions to the spinach as well as the fried pine nuts. Add 1 tablespoon of pomegranate molasses, and you can get the recipe for this on our channel. Follow that up with 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and 1 tablespoon of sumac. For seasonings, add half a teaspoon of salt and a quarter each of black pepper, cayenne and paprika. Finally, add 2 cloves of minced garlic and then mix everything together. When you have something that looks like this, you're done mixing. And let me tell you, it's going to be a struggle not to eat the entire bowl. This stuff will make for an amazing filling, but I'd even serve this as a side dish. To make the meat filling, you'll begin by once again chopping 125 grams of onions into a fine dice. My knife skills aren't great, so go a little smaller than this. You'll also need to do the same thing for 175 grams of tomatoes, chopping them into a fairly small dice. When that's done, place the tomatoes into a sieve and allow these to drain for about 15 minutes to get rid of their excess liquid. For the meat, you'll need 250 grams of lamb mince or high-fat beef mince, and the fat is important to make sure the toppings brown nicely. In a bowl, combine the meat with your chopped onions and the drained tomatoes. Now add in 1.5 tablespoons of concentrated tomato paste and the same amount of pomegranate molasses. Season with 1 teaspoon each of salt and paprika, then half a teaspoon of sumac and a quarter each of black pepper and cayenne. Finally, you're supposed to grate in about a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg, but I forgot to do this, so I did it a little later. Now get in there with your hands and start mixing it all together until it forms a homogeneous mixture. You should work the meat until you can take a ball of it in your hands and easily press it into a smooth log. This meat will go onto the dough raw, then will cook in the oven and be perfectly moist. The last topping you'll make is the Za'atar one, and this can just be made by combining 2 tablespoons of prepared Za'atar with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Mix it all together until you are left with a thick oily mixture that looks like this. With With all the toppings out of the way, we can move on to making the dough, which is a great all-purpose dough for Fatayer or menaish. We adapted this recipe from Soha's dishes on YouTube, and after trying a few different variations, this one was the easiest to work with. The dough is extremely soft and browns well in the oven, plus it doesn't require a lot of kneading. To start, you'll need 540 grams of milk, and you could replace it with water, but using milk will make the dough softer. This milk needs to be heated until warm so that our yeast can come alive, because if it's cold, the yeast won't activate. I microwaved mine to about 28 degrees, then I added in 4 teaspoons of sugar. I gave that a brief mix, then I added in 4 teaspoons of dry active yeast and mixed once more until well combined. Let this sit on your counter for about 10 to 15 minutes, and when you come back, the mixture should have come alive like this. If yours doesn't have a layer of bubbly yeast at the top, give it 10 more minutes or check that your yeast hasn't expired. Stir that yeasty froth into the milk and then break out your stand mixer to make the dough. If you want, you can also make this by hand, as it doesn't require a lot of kneading. First, place the beater attachment onto the mixer, then add 1 kilogram of flour to the bowl with 2 teaspoons of salt. Briefly mix the two together until combined, then pour in 240 grams of vegetable oil. Mix this on the lowest speed for about 30 seconds or until the flour has a sandy texture and it easily clumps together like this. This step saturates the flour with oil and helps it brown in the oven. Now switch to your dough hook and pour in the yeasty milk. Then start the mixer on slow to combine the flour and milk together. You can turn the speed up once combined, and this should knead for about 2.5 minutes on medium speed. Now I can't see the future, but apparently Salma can, because 5 seconds after she said the bowl is going to break, this happened. Luckily the bowl didn't shatter, but if anyone has a contact at KitchenAid, I'm looking for a new mixer. This went into my metal bowl to continue kneading, and when done, this is what the dough looked like. It should have a soft and elastic texture without leaving any traces on your hands when you touch it. Once it reaches that stage, remove the dough from the bowl, coat the bowl in a tiny amount of oil, then add the dough back in and allow it to rest for about 30 minutes. When the time is up, the dough will have doubled in size like so. Punch it down to release the trapped gas, then remove it and place on a clean worktop. Using a bench scraper so you don't damage your worktop, cut the dough into quarters, then roll them into balls and cover 3 of them while we work with the first one. To get the Fatayer evenly sized, we need to portion the dough out into 25 gram pieces. Using a kitchen scale, roughly cut and then weigh the dough balls, then add or remove little pieces of dough to get them more or less to 25 grams. Now all you need to do is take each clump of dough and roll it into a ball in your hands. Pull the rough edges down to the bottom of the ball until you are left with smooth dough balls like this. Once you've repeated the same steps with the rest of the dough, you should have about 68 dough balls ready to be topped. Before you do that, you'll need to prepare a sheet tray by adding on a teaspoon of vegetable oil. Brush this all over the tray and it will crisp up the bottom of the pies when they go into the oven. The easy way to make these is by rolling the dough out into a circle, then spreading the fillings on top. However, each of the fillings has their own distinct shape, so here's how you make them, starting with the spinach. First, lightly flour your work surface, then roll a ball of dough out into a circle about 10 centimeters in diameter. Place a heaped tablespoon of the filling into the center of the dough, leaving a gap around the edges, and you'll basically be pinching together 3 sides of the circle to form a triangle. Fold the 3 sides towards the middle so they all meet, then pinch together each of the 2 opposing sides so that it forms into a triangle or pyramid shape. Once all 3 sides are sealed, pick the pie up, then go back and pinch each of the seams thoroughly to make sure they're well closed. Take extra care to pinch the center where all 3 meet, because that's usually where it will leak from. That's how you make the spinach ones, and then you'll just place them onto the oil tray, making sure to leave a decent gap between them. For the meat ones, you'll start the same way by rolling the dough out into a slightly smaller circle. Then you'll take a couple teaspoons of the filling and press it into the dough. Make sure to get the filling a little thick like this, and then leave a gap of around 1 centimeter from the edges. These will be shaped into a square, so using your thumb and forefinger, grab one side of the dough and gather it between your fingers before pinching it into a pretty sharp corner. This will take a little practice to shape, but it will result in the edges sticking upright, and then you want to do the same thing on the opposite side. Once you have those 2 corners, you'll find the midpoint between them and add another corner. Then do the final one on the opposite side. Place the pie in your palm, then pinch the corners together again to completely seal them. These ones can be a bit harder to shape, but they'll look kind of cool once baked. Luckily the cheese ones are a lot easier. Take a dough ball and this time you'll roll it out into an oval shape. Something like this will work fine, just make sure to make it a little wide. Now take your cheese filling and add a few teaspoons along the center of the oval, pressing them down and spreading them out slightly. Leave a gap to the edge, then fold both long edges over the filling and towards the center. Once you have something like this, pinch both long edges edges together on either tip and you'll have something that looks like a mini Turkish pide. Finally, for the Za'atar ones, you'll roll them out into a circle, then place them directly onto the tray. Add some of the Za'atar mixture to the middle of each one, and then spread it out, going most of the way to the edges. Here's all 4 varieties of the prepared Fatayer, and they can all be baked together on the same tray to speed things up. Preheat your oven to as hot as it can go, then bake these for about 5 to 6 minutes, turning the tray halfway. These first ones came out too dark, so do a test batch first and adjust your timing by 30 seconds until you get them looking like this. The bottom should be golden and cooked through, while the dough should be soft and fluffy. In the end, you'll have loads of these fantastic Fatayer, and once cooled you can stack them and place them in the freezer, then just reheat whenever needed. So what are you going to be topping yours with?
I love me some savoury pies, and these Fatayer check every box. They pack in a ton of flavour, and whether you're snacking on a couple or stuffing your face with them, they'll go down a real treat. Now click here to see more pizza-like foods.